Hey guys, how's it going? Michael Troy here. Today we have a super fun comic book to look at, Machine Man number 18, guest starring John Byrne's Alpha Flight, or at least North Star, Aurora, and Sasquatch, easily three of my favorite Alphans. So I cannot wait to show it to you. So subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Hit that like button and let's get right into it. Classic comic from 1980, Machine Man. I feel like this is probably not long after Alpha Flight had made their debut in the X-Men. I don't know if this was gearing up excitement for their solo series, or people just really liked the characters and were using them because they made a few other appearances in the Marvel Universe. And this is cool for a lot of reasons. I mean, I love Machine Man. He's like one of those great, simple, classic characters who basically just has like such a simple name and like so like, you know, pared down to, you know, literal machine man. I'm a machine man. Anyway, you know, simplistic design. I think Machine Man's one of his greatest claims to fame is probably the limited series, beautifully illustrated by Windsor-smith, that really broke out for BWS and kind of put him on the map in a lot of ways, or reinvigorated people's love for his work, I'd have to say. So this is a great cover. Buckler and Simons, I'm assuming that's Rich Buckler, who was like maybe an artistic director at Marvel, tied to like the Fantastic Four office, like maybe a protege of Jack Kirby. Anyway, I've seen his work here and there throughout Marvel. He's obviously well known, and I've always liked his work. But the interiors get even more exciting because perfidiously produced by Tom DeFalco, whose writing is just slurred, Steve Ditko, an artist absurd, Diana Albers, she letters like a bird, Nel Yomtov, his colors are often blurred, Denny O'Neil, an editor who never be stirred, and Jolly Jim Shooter, who commands the last word. See, I told you I'd get even with these tiresome turkeys for insulting me in last issue's credits, Jim Shooter. That was always kind of the fun thing about Marvel, like, and definitely Stan the Manly set the tone by giving people, you know, nicknames. Our pal Sal, Jack King Kirby, Jolly Joe Senna. I mean, you know, it sort of made the people who created the comic book stories for you like real people and almost like your friends in a way. Because, I mean, and don't laugh at that. I mean, you think you're friends with people that you know on Facebook and Instagram and crap like that. So why can't you be friends with people? I mean, there has to be some sort of connection to these people looking at the art that they created from their own hands. I mean, Tom DeFalco would go on to, you know, be a writer and even editor-in-chief at Marvel. Steve Ditko, of course, the great. I mean, an artist absurd. It's so funny because, you know, his being kind of eclectic and quirky or whatever is a reputation that always follows him. I mean, come on, this is, I don't know, this is so fantastic. I love this page so much. Like, classic Ditko superhero storytelling. In a way, I guess he's inking himself. I mean, I've definitely seen tighter work from Ditko, and I don't know if he's just churning out pages at this point, but it is still all kinds of awesome. I love panels like that, and I love these random, obscure Alpha Flight appearances just popping up out of nowhere. Like Rom, like I just covered, like the Marvel team-up that I'm going to cover as well. Oh, Saturday morning cartoons, Be Still My Heart. And what a great era for, like, whoosh, I'm just, like, being sucked into a time machine. Godzilla and Godzuki. Yeah, I know. But whatever, I love Godzuki. Maybe I was just the right age for it. I don't know. Blue Falcon and Dynamite. Classic. Shmoo. The Herculoids. Space Ghost. Give me a break, will ya? I mean, it is so good. That seems like such a classic Ditko panel there. He's definitely, you know, like a product of that era as far as like all the great villains you know, he created in Spider-Man alongside, you know, Stanley or whatever. And just like some of the great contributions, like The Question, and just like, if not, you know, creating, at least exemplifying such classic comic book elements. I just love that perspective. And you know, the more simple, like, classic sort of panel layouts, like, no weird angles and stuff like that. It's very straightforward comic book storytelling. And I'm guessing this has to be one of Tom DeFalco's, like, very early works in a lot of ways. I think it's also interesting, maybe because they're a team, and it's, I don't know, like, I can't say 100%, but it feels like the Alpha Flight guest appearances going around Marvel at this time did not include the entire team, which is interesting because that's John Byrne would approach the book in that way. This looks like such a classic, like, Steve Ditko kind of design right there. Also kind of looks like something my friend Brian Payne would draw. Little Ditko influence on you there, Brian. Anyway, love this building design. And I'm getting back to my point about Alpha Flight that I was just about to make. But this very much reminds me of Star Labs. And like seeing that, like, once again, like I talk about the things in comic books that are instantly identifiable, and that looks like Star Labs, designed by George Perez from like Teen Titans. So I'm wondering if that was subconscious, or if he accidentally ripped it off on purpose, or, you know, sometimes crap like that happens. I mean, I think a lot of times it's unintentional, but it seems pretty specific. Anyway, Alpha Flight making like half team guest appearances. I guess it's easier to just have a handful of team members, but then John Byrne would very much do the book like that, having them, you know, go on their separate little adventures independently, and then kind of usually only come together as a team when it was super important, like the death of Guardian and whatnot. I mean, he nailed them in like such a real world weird way that it's kind of crazy. I mean, how can you not love the Sasquatch? And easily, like, the twins are totally my favorite Alphans for sure. But and when is Alpha Flight gonna get their due anyway? Like, what is Marvel waiting for? It's like, you know, frickin' I can't even think of like the worst Marvel character. D-Man. D-Man will have his own show before Alpha Flight gets their own movie. And I mean, mark my words, I don't care if you have to come to my grave. Well, I don't think I'll be buried. No, who wants to be buried? Anyway, scream to my soul in the void and say, you were right, Michael Troy, when Alpha Flight is finally made in some way, shape, or form, and it's the biggest hit ever, and people realize what a goldmine it is and how great it is. But for now, I'll keep it as my, like, perhaps, I don't know, Alpha Flight fans are hardcore, and I'm one of them, so there. I love Steve Ditko's characters. They're so cool looking. They're just so, like, wacky and bizarre. Like, did he ever do Dick Tracy? Because he would have been, like, such a good fit for Dick Tracy. I wonder how much of an influence. When you're not being influenced by Ayn Rand, are you being... And sorry, I ruined him for my brother by revealing the Steve Ditko, Ayn Rand connection. There are several other videos about that. I don't even want to talk about it. But, I mean, I just love Steve Ditko, so I could care less. And Aurora, I love my beloved Aurora, but she looks a little wonky there. But I guess that's Steve Ditko for you. It's interesting because John Byrne had inked Steve Ditko on something, like an annual or something, and it makes me realize what a good fit they were together. But I'll take John Byrne inking anyone. Anyway, I love that, like, melted Machine Man face. And once again, such a classic, like, almost Alex Toth with the great use of blacks and negative space there. But what a great classic comic book ending panel. That is how you tell a story, ladies and gentlemen. So exciting that Alpha Flight was here. And Machine Man 18 will always be legendary. How cool is that? I always loved Legos and thought they were so cool. And I particularly always loved that. This has got to be worth something, I would imagine. Anyway, Machine Man 18, Tom DeFalco, Steve Ditko, guest starring John Byrne's Alpha Flight, Aurora, North Star, and Sasquatch, all looking like so not right on this cover with their like yellow blonde hair when their hair is actually black with white highlights. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Hit that like button, share my content, and I'll bring you more later. Thanks, guys.